Men, let me tell you something straight. Wars don't start when the first shot is fired. Wars start when cowards in suits make bad deals, when weak men pretend that enemies can be reasoned with, and when good men sit back and watch their nation get sold off to the highest bidder. I saw it after we crushed Hitler, and damn it, I see it happening again today. Back in '45, I didn't celebrate victory the way some folks did. Sure, we knocked the hell out of the Nazis, but I looked east, and what did I see? The Red Army, sitting there like a pack of wolves, waiting for their turn. Stalin wasn't our friend. He was just another dictator biding his time. I warned those pencil pushers in Washington, but did they listen? No. They thought we could just shake hands, split Europe in half, and call it a day. Hell, they even let the Soviets roll right into Berlin, setting up shop in Eastern Europe like it was theirs by birthright. And guess what? We paid for that mistake for the next 50 years. What I warned and what happened, I told them. If you leave the job half done, you'll be fighting another war sooner than you think. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. The Cold War didn't come out of nowhere. It was built on our failure to finish the fight. Stalin locked down Eastern Europe behind the Iron Curtain, turned half the world into his puppets, and kept the globe on the brink of nuclear war for decades. Now, you might think that when the Soviet Union fell in '91, we finally won. Think again. We got comfortable, got soft, we let our guard down, and guess who was waiting in the shadows? A new Russian tyrant with the same damn ambitions. Cold War 2.0. Russia's return to form. You know what the difference is between Stalin and Putin? Not a damn thing. One had a mustache, the other doesn't. The playbook is the same. Bully your neighbors, push as far as you can, and see if anyone's got the guts to stop you. Putin took Crimea in 2014. Did we stop him? No. He rolled his tanks into Ukraine in 2022. Did we put a boot in his ass? No. Instead, we let our politicians wring their hands and worry about being too aggressive. Well, guess what happens when you play nice with a predator? He keeps coming back for more, and that's exactly what's happening now. Failed leadership has consequences. What kind of leaders let this happen? What kind of men look the other way when an enemy of democracy grows stronger? You think I'd have tolerated a leader who bent the knee to Moscow? You think I'd have stood by while a politician cozied up to an enemy of the United States? Hell no. A true leader doesn't praise a dictator for waging war. A real commander-in-chief doesn't entertain the idea of walking away from NATO, the very alliance that has kept Europe safe from Russian expansion. A strong nation doesn't withhold aid from an ally fighting for survival. If you're too scared to stand up to your enemy, you don't belong leading a nation. If you're too compromised to defend democracy, you don't deserve the rank of commander-in-chief. And if you bow to a dictator while calling yourself a patriot, then you might as well be wearing his uniform instead of ours. What needs to be done? Now, if you want to win a war, you have to be willing to fight. Here's what we need to do before this whole mess turns into something we can't contain. Stop playing games with NATO. This alliance is what keeps the wolves at bay. Strengthen it, don't weaken it. Meet Russian aggression with force. Putin doesn't respect words. He respects firepower. Stop giving traitors a pass. If a leader puts a foreign dictator's interests ahead of democracy, he's not a leader. He's a liability. Recognize that wars don't just happen overseas. The battle for democracy is fought every day, at home and abroad. The fight for democracy starts at home. The biggest threat to America isn't just in Moscow. It's in the corridors of power, where weak men sell out their country for personal gain. My final warning: I fought Nazis. I fought fascists. I fought enemies of democracy. And I'll tell you something, the real fight never ends. There will always be another tyrant waiting to test our resolve. There will always be another weak-willed politician ready to let him. And there will always be those who think we can just sit back and hope for the best. I'll tell you right now, hope isn't a strategy. Strength is. We can either act now, or we can watch history repeat itself. The choice is ours. Now get out there and do what needs to be done.